Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. So, today we're going to continue with chapter 4, Bhagavad Gita, and that's entitled Transcendental Knowledge, Jnana Yoga. And there's 4 themes. We have looked at 2 of them last week, and they were, we can just very quickly recap. One was about the parampara and how knowledge is transferred down from guru to disciple. And this 4 sampradayas which are authorized in this age of Kali Yuga. And the most important thing was that why Krishna comes to our world. We know this verse, Yada Yada Dharmasya. I think everybody will know that verse, where Krishna explains that whenever there is an increase in irreligion and a decrease in religion, he comes. But actually, that's text number 7 of chapter 4. And text number 8, he says something a little bit similar. But text number 9 is the one that's the most important one, why he really comes to this world, in order to take us back to the spiritual world. And he does that, and he explains, those who know his activities and his appearance, at the end of this life, they will go back to the spiritual world. Janma karma chamay devya. So what we can do is try on a very regular basis to read this beautiful Krishna book, which has been written by Srila Prabhupada. It's a summary of the 10th canto of the Srimad Bhagavad Puran. Because if we can know the activities and the birth of Krishna, then we won't come back to this world after leaving this body. That's the first lesson. Second lesson was that there are, let me just go to the end, many misconceptions which Krishna clears up. And I think the biggest one is that all spiritual paths lead to the same destination. No, not necessarily, they don't. If one follows the demigods, one reaches the demigods, but that is still in this world. It's not even a spiritual path. So one has to be very careful. We want to connect with the Supreme Personality of Godhead himself. And that is Krishna or his avatars, including Vishnu. So if we take any steps towards Krishna, he reciprocates by taking many, many steps towards us. So this is very important that we connect with Krishna. And the more we connect with him, the more he connects with us. So now we wanted to look at the next point, 2 points, two more themes left. This is a little bit complicated, but actually not so bad. Inaction in action. That sounds complicated in itself. And then we'll talk about knowledge and how important knowledge is. So we shall go to Purna Mataji. Let me just share the... And yes, that's a good point. Who's going to do the English? So who would like to recite the English? Is there anybody who'd like to recite maybe 5 verses? Any volunteers? So we're going to chant up to 24.
I don't mind, Prabhu. I'll do it.
Okay. Thank you, Kaushali Maji. So Hare Krishna, Purnamalaji.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Very good. So we can start from text number 16.
Om Shri Paramatmane Namaha. Kim karmeti gavayopyatra mohitaha tatte karma pravakshyami yajnatva mokshase shubhat.
Even the intelligent are bewildered in determining what is action and what is inaction. Now I shall explain to you what action is, knowing which you shall be liberated from all misfortune.
Karmano yapi bodhavyam cha vikarmanaha अकर्मणश्च बोधव्यं गहना कर्मणो गतिः.
The intricacies of action are very hard to understand. Therefore, one should know properly what action is, what forbidden action is, and what inaction is.
कर्मण्यकर्म यः पश्येद कर्मणि च कर्म यः स बुद्धिमान् मनुष्येषु स युक्तः कृतस्न कर्म कृत.
One who sees inaction in action and action in inaction is intelligent among men, and he is in the transcendental position, although engaged in all sorts of activities.
So we'll come back to this verse later, but it's a very interesting verse. One who sees inaction in action and action in inaction is intelligent among men. Would anybody care to just take a stab at what that means? Inaction in action and action in inaction. Any takers? Give a little explanation of what that might mean. I'll pick on somebody otherwise. How about you, Puna Mataji?
Yeah, I'll try. uh, Maybe it's here, it's trying to say, or like, when we are worshipping Krishna,
Mm.
It is sort of an action,
Mm.
but then we're leaving everything to him.
Mm.
So it's in action, we're not taking any action. We are like just doing our karma and then leaving it there. I don't know if it is that.
Yeah, no, that's good. That's good. I'll pick on somebody, one more person. Unless somebody is willing to step forward, but you're on the right path. Okay, let's pick on Aruna. Are you there, Aruna?
I'm here, but I'm a bit busy at the moment, but I'm
Okay.
listening.
Okay, no, that's okay. No, that's okay. Don't worry.
Sorry.
No. Bhagarvi?
Prabhuji, things are happening without our control. It happens just by itself.
Okay, interesting. So very quickly, inaction in action. So action, we're doing something, but actually it's regarded as inaction. That is what, like a little bit like what Puna Mataji said. We're doing something, we're worshipping Krishna, but it's considered inaction because there's no reaction, material reaction. We won't get any karmic reaction. That's why it's inaction. So bhakti means we won't get any reaction. There's no it's considered as inaction, but we are acting. So bhakti means when we're doing bhakti, we don't get any reaction. It's inaction. It's no action, no karma is involved. But action in inaction, if we have some duty to do and we don't do that duty, that means it's inaction. Because we are not doing that duty, there will be a karmic reaction. That's why it's called action in inaction. So, for example, a policeman, his duty is to catch the robber. But if he neglects his duty and lets the robber go, that's inaction, but he will suffer a consequence. He will get sacked because it's action in inaction. Does that make sense? Anybody like to? Is it too complicated?
Yes, Prabhu.
Too complicated?
Yes.
Okay, so let's make it easier. Actually, 1 second, just. Okay, Bhagavad got it. That's good. So basically, this first one, action in inaction, means we're doing something, but we will go to the spiritual world. This one, action in inaction, means we're not doing something, and we're thinking it's spiritual not to do something, but actually we will remain in this world because we should have done our duty. Does that make sense now?
Yes, Prabhu.
Okay. Anybody else? Bhavna Ben? Or Renuka?
Prabhu, yeah, no, I understand that the second time you explained it, yes. But
Okay.
it's all the work that we do is without any attachment, and you do it just with the mind that you're doing it for Krishna. That's
Yes,
my
that's it. You're doing bhakti. And when you're doing bhakti, no reaction comes. It's considered as inaction. Okay, we'll cover that a little bit more. So don't worry, if you haven't got it, we'll cover it a little bit more in a minute. Okay, sorry, carry on, Puna Mataji.
यस्य सर्वे समारम्भः कामसङ्कल्पवर्जितः ज्ञानाग्निदग्धकर्माणं तमाहुः पण्डितं बुधः.
One is understood to be in full knowledge, whose every endeavor is devoid of desire for sense gratification. He is said by sages to be a worker for whom the reactions of work have been burned up by the fire of perfect knowledge.
त्यक्त्वा कर्मफलासङ्गं नित्यतृप्तो निराश्रयः कर्मण्यभिप्रवृत्तोऽपि नैव किञ्चित् करोति सः.
Abandoning all attachment to the results of his activities, every satisfied and independent, he performs no fruitive action, although engaged in all kinds of undertakings.
निराशीर्यत चित्तात्मा त्यक्त्य सर्वपरिग्रहः शारीरं केवलं कर्म कुर्वान्नाप्नोति किल्बिषम्.
Such a man of understanding acts with mind and intelligence perfectly controlled, gives up all the sense of proprietorship over his possessions and acts only for the bare necessities of life. Thus working, he is not affected by sinful reactions.
यदृच्छालाभसन्तुष्टो द्वन्द्वातीतो विमत्सरः समः सिद्धावसिद्धौ च कृत्वापि न निबध्यते.
He who is satisfied with the gain which comes of its own accord, who is free from duality and does not envy, who is steady in both success and failure, is never entangled although performing actions.
गतसङ्गस्य मुक्तस्य ज्ञानावस्थितचेतसः यज्ञायाचरतः कर्म समग्रं प्रविलीयते.
The work of a man who is unattached to the modes of material nature and who is fully situated in transcendental knowledge merges entirely into transcendence.
ॐ ब्रह्मार्पणं ब्रह्म हविर्ब्रह्माग्नो ब्रह्मणाहुतं ब्रह्मैव तेन गन्तव्यं ब्रह्म कर्म समाधिना.
A person who is fully absorbed in Krishna consciousness is sure to attain the spiritual kingdom because of his full contribution to spiritual activities in which the consummation is absolute, and that which is offered is of the same spiritual nature.
Very nice. So, Puna Mataji, I could tell you knew that verse by heart, huh?
Oh, yes, Prabhuji.
Very important verse. Very, very nice verse. First class, thank you. Let's just go, just highlight this if you can. So let's have a look at share screen. How do you do it? No, doesn't give you option. So let's do one thing. Good. Just 1 second. Now try it. Can you see the screen?
Yes, Prabhu.
Transcendental knowledge?
Yeah.
Okay, good.
Yeah, we can
Good.
see.
Okay, so thank you very much, Puna Mataji. And 1 second, let me just put it back. Okay. So this was all about karma, action. Karma means action, but it is also referred to, it also refers to as the universal law of nature. For every action, there is an equal and opposite reaction. So we know this, right? If we do good things, we get good things back. If we do crazy things happen. And it's logical as well. If we jump off a 10-story building, there's gonna be a reaction, right? We will break some bones if we are still alive, of course. There's gonna be a reaction. If we assist somebody, if we help somebody, there'll be a positive reaction. So bad karma brings bad reactions and that's obviously undesirable. So if we continue to do things which are against nature, against the laws of nature, then there will be reactions. And an example is if say we kill a living entity, if we commit murder, then there will be a reaction in this life, perhaps also in the next life. Okay. However, Krishna further explains that even good karma can still bind us to this world. Now, we're not saying don't do good karma, because doing good activities gives one a good platform to do spiritual activities. But what we are saying is be very careful. If we're thinking I'm going to do good karma, I'm going to build a hospital, I'm going to feed millions of people, I'm going to build houses for those who are homeless. These are really good activities. But be careful that we don't equate those activities to be on the spiritual platform. They're still on the material platform and we'll still get great benefits. We will have to enjoy those benefits, however, in the future. So the handcuffs are still there. The fact that they are gold handcuffs, which tie down to this world, is still a handcuff. So we are saying that convert the good karma into spiritual activity. And we can discuss how to do that either today or in future sessions. But let's see where we're going. Beyond good and bad activities, our activities performed on the spiritual level. That is action which yields no reaction and ultimately frees one from the anxieties and entanglements of this world. Such karma, such action is called akarma. This is what that verse was talking about. Action in inaction, that is akarma. So Krishna also says in this theme that we talked about, is in text number 17, he says, Arjun, the intricacies of karma are difficult to understand. Don't try to understand karma. Very, very difficult to understand. We do so many actions every day. which yield reactions. Some of them are good actions, some of them are not so good actions, some of them are karma, they're bhakti related. Now, to disentangle which action has led to my issue at this moment is very difficult to do. We're always trying to do that. Why am I suffering, Krishna? Why am I going through this? Very hard to work out why we're going through it. So the lesson to learn from this is often we may be at the receiving end of rough justice, right? We're thinking, I didn't deserve that, and feel aggrieved by other people's actions towards us. This can make us angry. This injustice, however, is likely to do with our previous actions, perhaps previous lives' actions. Taking responsibility for our predicament, understanding that there is a reason for everything that happens, will make us less bitter and better able to cope. We never complain when good things happen unexpectedly, isn't it? So this is a really big lesson to take away from today. Huge lesson. Sorry? Yeah. If we are going through a difficult time and we're trying to work out and we're trying to justify that difficulty and perhaps blaming somebody else for that difficulty, that will simply make our suffering even worse. But if instead we take this responsibility, okay, I don't understand why I'm suffering like this, but let it be, and I will take responsibility. I have obviously done something wrong in my past to deserve this. And it's not that we're going to give up. No, 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 no. This will equip us to make us stronger to deal with the predicament that we are facing. Just Jayanti just reminded me actually, before we go there, intricacies of karma. There's an example of Dhritarashtra. He asked Krishna at the end of the battle, when they were back in Hastinapur, why did I have to suffer seeing my 100 children die in front of me? Or he didn't see, of course, he was blind, but by the mercy of Sanjay, he had vision. So Krishna thought for a moment and he said to Dhritarashtra that 50 lives ago, you had killed 100 chicks, 100 baby birds, and you enjoyed watching them die, suffer and die. Okay, so that's why I had to suffer, losing 100 children. But why did I have to wait 50 lifetimes? Dhritarashtra asked Krishna. So then Krishna explained that for every life that you lived, your 50 lives, you had to accumulate good karma to get 2 children. At the end of 50 lives, you got enough good karma to have 100 sons. That's why you had to wait 50 lives to see those 100 sons die because of your karma that you did 50 lives ago. So as you can see, karma is very, very intricate, very intricate. So let's not try to understand it too much. There's an example of Arthur Ashe. I don't know if any of you are my age and remember this incredible young man. He was a legend. He was the first black man to win Wimbledon. So he got cancer. And from all over the world, he received letters from his fans. And one of them said, why does God have to select you for such a bad disease, right? This was what he was asked. And Arthur Ashe, he replied, all over the world, 50 million children start playing tennis. 5 million learn to play tennis. 500,000 learn professional tennis. 50,000 come to the circuit. 5,000 reach the Grand Slam. These are the most prestigious tennis tournaments. 50 reach Wimbledon in the UK. Wimbledon is the most famous. You probably all know. 4 make it to the semifinals. 2 make it to the finals. And when I won, and I was holding the cup, when I won Wimbledon, he's saying, I never asked God, why me? And today I am in pain. Why should I ask God, why me? So this is a really nice attitude to take. Whenever we're happy and get good fortune, we never say, hey, I didn't deserve that. So when we get some bad, auspicious thing happens to me, we take it in the same light. Right? What is this saying? We have no right to ask when a sorrow comes, why did this happen to me? Unless we ask the same question for every joy that comes our way. Ramachandra to Lakshman. Very interesting. Okay. Something was missing actually. Sorry. Let me just go back. Ah, yes, good. There is. This picture here. So when we were talking earlier, we talked about karma. There was something called vikarma. One of the verses mentions forbidden activities. Vikarma are those forbidden activities, sinful activity. We try to avoid those sinful activities. Our karma are those which are spiritual activities. When we say karma, karma is generally auspicious actions, and we will enjoy. But still the enjoyment, as we've spoken already, is in this world. And that joy is either going to be short-lived or it's not really joy. It's just a little bit less suffering. But it will keep us in this world and we will always have rebirth. The idea of acting is not to do karma, definitely not to do vikarma, but to do akarma. We still have to act. But if we act for Krishna, if we act in devotion, on behalf of the Supreme Lord, then that is considered as inaction. If you remember, inaction in action. This is inaction, although one is working very hard for Krishna. It's still acting, but it's considered inaction because it's our karma. And that can only lead to the spiritual world, away from this world of birth and death. Questions we're going to take later. So if you have questions, please do save them or type them on the chat. I'm sure there will be questions because it's not the easiest point to understand. Okay, so let's move to the the fourth last bit now. Let's find, there we are. Okay, good. Thank you. So text 25, right till the end, Purna Mataji. And who'd like to read? Any volunteers to read the English? Maybe 5 verses by Renuka, 5 verses by Ritesh, and the rest can be done by Ankit, maybe?
Prabhuji, if you don't mind, Kathan wants to read.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Okay, good.
Very
Thank
good.
you.
So he can do, how many would you like to do?
1? Okay, he wants to do
Okay,
1.
very good. Good boy.
दैवमेवापरे यज्ञं योगिनः पर्युपासते ब्रह्माज्ञावपरे यज्ञं यज्ञेनैवो पजुव्यति.
Okay.
Some yogis perfectly worship the demigods by offering different sacrifice to them, and some offer sacrifices in the fire of the Supreme Brahman.
Okay, that was really good. Well read. Now, 1 second. Don't go anywhere, Katin. I want to ask everybody to bless this boy. He's only 5 and he's got a twin brother, Katit. Bless this boy so he becomes a wonderful, he's already is a wonderful devotee of the Lord, but even more wonderful devotee of the Lord. So please, everybody, bless this boy. Huh? Wonderful family. Thank you so much. Thank you, Katin. Katit. No, Katan.
Yes, he's Kathan.
Yeah, that's good. Thank you. Well read. So, thank you. So now, maybe Renuka, if you'd like to read the English after Purna does the Sanskrit.
Yes, Prabhuji.
Thank you.
श्रोत्रादीनिन्द्रियाण्यन्ये संयमाग्निषु जुह्यति शब्दादीन विषयानन्य इन्द्रियाग्निषु जुह्यति.
Some, the adulterated brahmacharis, sacrifice the hearing process and the senses in the fire of mental control. And others, the regulated householders, sacrifice the objects of the sense in the fire of the senses.
सर्वाणि इन्द्रियकर्माणि प्राणकर्माणि चापरे आत्मसंयम योगाग्नौ जुह्वति ज्ञानदीपिते.
Others who are interested in achieving self-realization through the control of the mind and senses offer the functions of all the senses and of the life breath has obligation into the fire of the controlled mind.
द्रव्ययज्ञास्तपो यज्ञा योगयज्ञास्तथा परे स्वाध्याय ज्ञानयज्ञाश्च यतयः संशितव्रतः.
Having accepted strict vows, some become enlightened by the sacrificing their possessions and others by performing severe austerities, by practicing the yoga of eightfold mysticism, or by studying the Vedas to advance in the transcendental knowledge.
अपाने जुह्वति प्राणं प्राणे पानं तथा परे प्राणापानगतिरुद्ध्वा प्राणायाम परायणः अपरे नियताहारः प्राणान् प्राणेषु जुह्वति.
Still others who are inclined to the process of breathing restraint to remain in trance practice by offering the movement of the outgoing breath into the incoming and the incoming breath into the outgoing, and thus at last remain in trance, stopping at all breathing. Others curtailing the eating process offer the outgoing breath into itself as a sacrifice.
सर्वेप्येते यज्ञविदो यज्ञक्षपित कल्मषः यज्ञशिष्टामृतभुजो यान्ति ब्रह्म सनातनम्.
All these performers who know the meaning of sacrifice become cleansed of sinful reactions, and having tasted the nectar of the results of sacrifices, they advance towards the supreme eternal atmosphere.
नायं लोकोऽस्त्य यज्ञस्य कुतोऽन्यः कुरु सत्तमा.
O best of the Kuru dynasty, without sacrifice, one can never live happily on this planet or in this life. What then of the next?
एवं
No, carry on. Sorry.
एवं बहुविधा यज्ञा वितता ब्रह्मणो मुखे कर्मजान् विद्धितान् सर्वान् एवं ज्ञात्वा विमोक्ष्यसे.
Thank
All
you.
these, oh, shall I continue?
Yeah, carry on. Actually, do this one, and then maybe next few Ritesh can do.
Okay. Thank you. All these different types of sacrifice are approved by the Vedas, and all of them are born of different types of work. Knowing them as such, you will become liberated. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Renuka. Beautifully read.
श्रेयान् द्रव्यमयादग्नाज् ज्ञानयज्ञः परन्तप सर्वं कर्माखिलं पार्थ ज्ञाने समाप्यते.
O chastiser of the enemy, the sacrifice performed in knowledge is better than the mere sacrifice of material possessions. After all, O son of Pritha, all sacrifices of work culminate in transcendental knowledge.
तद्विधि प्रणिपातेन परिप्रश्नेन सेवया उपदेक्ष्यन्ति ते ज्ञानम् ज्ञानिनस्तत्त्वदर्शिनः.
Just try to learn the truth by approaching a spiritual master. Inquire from within submissively and render service unto him. The self-realized souls can impart knowledge unto you because they have seen the truth.
This is a key verse about how we can gain knowledge in a very practical way. We'll come to this again when we do the summary.
यज्ञात्वा न पुनर्मोहम् एवं यास्यसि पाण्डव येन भूतान्यशेषाणि द्रक्ष्यस्यात्मन्यथो मयि.
Having obtained real knowledge from a self-realized soul, you will never fall again into such illusion. For by this knowledge you will see that all living beings are but part of the Supreme, or in other words, that they are mine.
Mm-hmm.
अपि चेदसि पापेभ्यः सर्वेभ्यः पापकृत्तमः सर्वं ज्ञानप्लवेनैव वृजीनं सन्तरिष्यसि.
You can continue, Vitesh.
Oh, sorry, I'm talking on mute. Apologies.
Okay.
Even if you are considered to be the most sinful of all sinners, when you are situated in the boat of transcendental knowledge, you will be able to cross over the ocean of the miseries.
So this is really the kindness of the Lord. He's saying, even if we are crazy, the most craziest of the craziest, if we are diving into this Bhagavad Gita, this transcendental knowledge, then we will be able to cross over this ocean of miseries. And later on, he explains why that is the case.
यथैदांसि समिधोऽग्निर्भस्मासात् कुरुतेऽर्जुन ज्ञानाग्निः सर्वकर्माणि भस्मसात् कुरुते तथा.
As a blazing fire turns firewood to ashes, O Arjuna, so does the fire of knowledge burn to ashes all reactions to material activities.
नहीं
Sorry, I was going to say thank you so much, Ritesh, for reading. I don't know if Ankit is there. He can read the next 5.
Sure, Prabhu.
Thank you.
नहि ज्ञानेन सदृशं पवित्रमिह विद्यते तस्वयं योगसंसिद्धिः कालेनात्मनि विन्दति.
In this world, there is nothing so sublime and pure as transcendental knowledge. Such knowledge is the mature fruit of all mysticism. And one who has become accomplished in this practice of devotional service enjoys this knowledge within himself in due course of time.
श्रद्धावान् लभते ज्ञानं तत्परः संयतेन्द्रियः ज्ञानं लब्ध्वा परां शान्तिम् अचिरेणाधिगच्छति.
A faithful man who is dedicated to transcendental knowledge and who subdues his senses is eligible to achieve such knowledge. And having achieved it, he quickly attains the supreme spiritual peace.
Agnascha shraddhanascha nascha samshayatma vinashyati. Nayam lokosti na paro na sukham sanshayatmanah.
But ignorant and faithless persons who doubt the revealed scriptures do not attain God consciousness. They fall down. For the doubting soul, there is happiness neither in this world nor in the next.
Yoga sanyasyat karmanam gnana sanchinna sanshayam atmavantam na karmani nibad nibandhanti dhananjaya.
One who acts in devotional service, renouncing the fruits of his actions, and whose doubts have been destroyed by transcendental knowledge, is situated factually in the self. Thus, he is not bound by the reaction of work, O conqueror of riches.
So this is the key point. That point about the most sinner of sin, the most sinful person, even he can cross over if he takes to this knowledge. It's because the doubts that one has will be destroyed by this knowledge. This is very important.
Tasmad jnana sambhutam dhritastham gnanasinatmanah chitvainam sanshayam yogam atishthotishta bharata.
Therefore, the doubts which have arisen in your heart out of ignorance should be slashed by the weapons of knowledge. Armed with yoga, O Bharata, stand and fight. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you. Yeah. So, Punamataji, do you want to end the chapter?
Yes, please. One second, please bear with me.
No problem.
This fourth chapter is
Gyan Yoga.
Help me, Prabhuji. What is it called?
Gyan Yoga.
Gyan Yoga. Okay, yeah, thank you. Iti Srimad Bhagavad Gitayam Brahma Vidyayam Yoga Shastre Shri Krishna Arjuna Samvade Shraddhataya Vibhaganam Gnana Yoga Nam Chaturthadhyayam Shri Krishna Arpanamastu.
Jai. Thank you so much. It's amazing when you read these verses. We struggle like anything. So thank you so much. It's
Thank you so much
beautiful.
for giving me this opportunity, and please excuse me for my mistakes.
No, there aren't any. Very, very nice. And here again, Krishna reconfirms that ignorance that we are in will be destroyed by the weapon of knowledge. So armed with yoga, O Bharat, stand and fight. That applies to us as well. So just a quick summary of these points. Okay. So the final theme, in order to acquire, understand, and realize transcendental knowledge, Gyan Yoga, one must make a sacrifice. We often, when we go on the streets, we hear somebody say, okay, you got 2 minutes. Tell me what you got to say. What's the purpose of life? Well, you know, to become a doctor, it takes 7-8 years. To become an accountant, it's a similar sort of time frame. You know, and you want knowledge about the highest possible subject matter, the science of God, and you want it in 2 minutes. It's not going to be possible. So we should be patient. We also have that attitude sometimes. We want to hear a class. We want to know the conclusions of spiritual life immediately. No, it will take time to understand. So we have to make that sacrifice. Sacrifices help refine one's character so one becomes eligible to achieve this knowledge. And the impact of transcendental knowledge is as follows. What does it do? It makes us self-realize, understanding who we are. Self-realization means to understand that we're not this body, we are beyond this body, we are the soul that is actually controlling this body. What else does it do? Even a sinner can cross beyond this ocean if on the boat of divine knowledge. We read that verse. And the final verse we read as well, doubts will be slashed by the weapon of knowledge. So knowledge is so important. I'm grateful for all of you to be attending these classes and getting this knowledge. In fact, I'm the one benefiting the most because preparing, you have to learn so much as well. So the lesson to take from this point is one of the biggest sacrifices is to relinquish one's pride by humbly submitting oneself before the bona fide guru, the spiritual master. By faithful service and sincere inquiry within such a relationship, the heart becomes fertile ground for spiritual knowledge to blossom. So that was the text number 34, where Krishna says that if you serve the spiritual master and make humble inquiries from him, then you will learn about this transcendental knowledge. So, and this is actually the third time that this matter of understanding from a higher authority is coming up. The first time was in the very first verse. Dhritarashtra is asking Sanjay, what happened? My sons and the sons of Pandu have assembled on the battlefield in Kurukshetra. What has happened? So immediately he's taken shelter of Sanjay. Of course, that wasn't necessarily for spiritual enlightenment. He wanted to understand what was happening to his sons. But still, he'd taken shelter of Sanjay. Second time this matter of the guru has come up was when Arjun surrendered to Krishna. I don't know, this problem is far too big for me. Please help me. Text number 7 of the second chapter. And then again, Krishna himself is saying to Arjun, Tad Vidipanipatena, just take shelter of a spiritual master, surrender unto him, learn from him, inquire submissively, serve him. And in that way, you will gain spiritual knowledge. Why? Because that guru has seen the truth. He knows the way. So it's very important to accept a spiritual master, not any spiritual master, a spiritual master who has a spiritual master, who also has a spiritual master. There's a parampara, like we were talking about a couple of weeks ago. Oh, no, so last week, that this knowledge has come down through the disciplic succession from guru to disciple, from Krishna himself, the first guru. So very, very important to accept a guru. And of course, we have the greatest guru, right? Srila Prabhupada. He is the Shiksha guru of the whole world. Shiksha means teacher guru. He's written these books that we are studying. So he is the Shiksha guru of the whole world. You also need a Diksha guru, one who gives you initiation, connects you to the parampara. But if one doesn't have one for the time being, that's okay. We just take shelter of Srila Prabhupada at this time. And then in due course of time, depending on our sincerity and our earnest prayers, Krishna will send somebody, a spiritual master to us who will connect us formally to this line of Prabhupada's. So I wanted to stop there. I have got 2 more slides, but I don't want to go through them because there's a lot of detail. I'll share these as part of the paper, the presentation, but I'm not planning to go through this. It's the qualifications of a guru and also the qualifications of a disciple. So Krishna has already explained what the qualifications are, but there's a little bit more detail in what I can send. Anybody like to ask any questions or any comments? Happy for you to ask any on either subject matter or any subject matter, it doesn't matter, in relation to what we've talked about today or even previously.
Hare Krishna,
Yes,
Prabhu.
Punamati.
Well, it's not a question, it's a request. I think long ago you shared a story, where Sri Krishna or somebody meets, 4 different kinds of people,
Oh, yeah.
depending on the deeds, and he blesses them. Um, uh, for one, he says, you should be liberated from this world immediately. For other one, he said there are 4 different types of people. And then, somebody asks him a question, that he was your biggest devotee and why you said, you should die at once,
Mhm.
like that. If you could remember the
Yeah.
story and tell me, if not today, anytime, yeah, I would want to
Good.
listen to the story again.
So it was actually not Krishna, it was a very important bhakta of Krishna, devotee of Krishna. He, on his journey, he met 4 types of people. He met, I think he met first the butcher. Right? He met the butcher, and he said to the butcher, "Don't die and don't live." That was his blessing. Whew. Okay. Then he, on his travels, he continued. He met a brahmachari, doing tapasya, very austere tapasya. And he blessed him, die immediately. And then he met a prince who was really enjoying, he was drinking and enjoying with ladies. And he said to him, he blessed him, don't die, don't die, never die, never die. Blessing, never die. And then he met the 4th type of person. Who was that?
Vishnu. Whether you die or
Yeah,
live.
he met a
Devotee.
devotee of the Lord who was doing Mahamantra, chanting, dancing, feasting. And he said to him, doesn't matter whether you die or you live, doesn't matter. So then why did he bless these personalities differently? So the first person, the butcher, he blessed him, never die, never live. Don't die, don't live, because his life now is completely miserable, right? He's in complete horrible work, horrible life, and his future is horrible as well. So this sage, he was feeling very compassionate, and he said to him, don't live, don't die. Because you're living your horrible life, dying, you're going to have a horrible life. Next life is horrible for you. The brahmachari, the one who was doing great tapasya, he said, wow, you really, putting your body through so much difficulty, stress, and austerity. Die immediately, because your next life is going to be glorious. You'll be in the spiritual destination somewhere. So die immediately. And then to the prince, he said to him, never die, because you're enjoying now, but in your next life, you're going to pay the price for the enjoyment. So better you just don't die. Just keep enjoying. Because he was feeling a lot of compassion for the boy. And then the devotee of the Lord, he was enjoying chanting, dancing. And for him, the blessing was, whether you live or you die, it makes no difference. You're already with God now. And when you die, when you leave the body, you're going to go with God. So it makes no difference. You're here with God. Afterwards, you're going to be with God. So you don't you're happy in both situations. You're in transcendental bliss in both situations. Is that okay, Maji?
Amazing. Thank you very much. I just love this story, but couldn't, remember it. So I thought I'll ask you again, and this time I've written it down, so probably I'll remember it now.
No, thank you. Thank you for asking. I love that pastime. It shows the mood of the sage, but it shows the positions of different personalities. And we have to try to be that devotee. We're happy now in our seva to the Lord, And we're fearless. That's the aim. We want to be fearless. And at the moment, we are reading the 6th canto of the Bhagavatam, and Vritsasura, a demon, would you believe, fighting Indra. And he was defeating Indra. And he said to Indra, come, fight with me. Don't give up. You are much better than you think you are. Come and kill me. He was a demon. But actually, his mood was that of a devotee. Because in his previous life, he was Chitraketu, a great devotee. He was cursed to be a demon. So because he was in that mood of devotee, he was fearless. He said to Indra, come and kill me, because my destination is the spiritual world. So I don't mind if you kill me, but don't hesitate. He was such a wonderful devotee. Artibel, have you got a question or like to share something?
Prabhuji, in the beginning, you Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, sorry.
Hare Krishna, Artibel. Fantastic. Thank you for joining us.
In the beginning, you said something about the anger and somebody shouting at you, and then you questioned that, why me? Is it possible? Can you explain it again, please?
Oh, yes, sure. Say, apne kain kharab thyu che. I'll just say it in Gujarati a little bit. Huh? My Gujarati is really bad, actually. Apne kain kharab thyu che. આપણે વિચાર કરીએ છીએ કેમ મને થયું છે ભગવાન તમને મને કેમ આ ખરાબ ચીજ આપી. So why am I going through this difficulty, Krishna?
Yes.
If આપણો એવો mood હોય, then we will have a lot of difficulties going forward, because we can't blame the Lord for anything.
Yeah.
Our problem is because આપણે કંઈ કર્યું છે આપણા પહેલા જીવનમાં to suffer like this. We've done something in our past life to get this suffering. So the idea is, okay, મને આ થાય છે, હું કોઈને blame નહીં કરું. Okay, આ માણસે મને કદાચ કર્યું હશે એવી રીતના, but I won't blame him.
Yeah.
This is my karma. I take responsibility. But it's not કે આપણે we give in to life. No, we don't give in, but we take responsibility. આપણે કહે છે કે look, કાંઈ નહીં, no problem. I will deal with it.
But suppose if we can reply back to that person nicely, how does that be reacted?
No, that's okay. If somebody says something to us in anger, and we can say, no doubt we can react, but react in a Krishna conscious, a positive way. That so if
you don't get angry with them.
Yeah.
So that's the negative version.
Okay, Mataji.
Yeah. And then the positive would, okay, so you said this to me. I'll take your criticism or your thing on board. And, I will try and correct myself or do something, do it in a better way.
Okay, yeah.
Something like that.
But also, if you don't agree with somebody's criticism, you can say, actually, I don't quite agree with what you're saying.
So why are you,
Yeah, please explain to me. There's no harm in doing that.
Okay.
There's no harm in doing that. Because that way, actually, rather than running away from the situation.
That's the third thing. You just walk away.
You walk away, you cry. Why did this person say this? And actually, if you can do that, say you don't react at all, but you don't take it to heart as well. That's okay.
Yeah.
That's okay.
Because
then you've accepted some criticism, but you haven't taken it to heart. You'll say, okay, I will learn from this. I don't necessarily agree with it. And if you're feeling, okay, I really don't agree with this, and you go to that person and say, actually, I don't quite understand what you mean by that. And it'll be good for me if you can explain it.
Okay.
If it's possible.
But that doesn't build up our bad karma, does it?
No, That is very
If
good.
we can reply back into a positive way, it doesn't build up our bad karma.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's only when you react negatively, like you get angry as well.
Yeah.
And it's very easy to do that. We know that in this
Yeah.
age of Kali, we all get angry very quickly. You know, somebody said something, hey, what do you think you are? Easy to do.
Okay, yes.
Easy
Thank
to.
you, Prabhuji. Thank you, Mataji.
Thank you for asking, Artiven. I really appreciate it. Very good.
Thank you.
Hare Krishna.
There's an English saying that you kill it with kindness, and it's kind of a similar rule where somebody, you don't have to, I guess, respond in the way somebody has reacted to you or exercise themselves towards you. And I think, it's that control that is very difficult. As Arjun says, the mind is more difficult to control than the wind. And in a moment we can say something, and then the next moment we realize actually not only what have we said, but what it means for the other person.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
And that you can't take back, isn't
Yeah.
it? Words, arrows are shot, you can get cured, but when words are shot back, it's very hard to cure those.
Absolutely.
Yeah. A good point, Ankit. Anything else, Ankit, you'd like to share?
No, I'm sorry, I joined late actually.
No, I know you were really busy. So thank you for joining. But I always value your feedback, your realizations. You have some nice realizations.
Krishna's mercy, I guess. I can answer that.
Yeah, thank you.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Okay, anybody else? Anything else, Puna Mataji?
This is a very karma, is a very tricky thing close to my heart,
Oh, is it?
In the sense, I'm not convinced by what, Shri Krishna says,
That's good. He says question it. So question it.
I don't have a memory. I don't have memory of what I was in my past life.
Yeah.
I know what I'm going to do is going to, either good or bad, I'm going to face it in this life. Whether, I mean, this is what I've observed. Okay. Now, well, for Dhritarashtra and all, they were with Krishna, they were all enlightened souls. However bad he was still with Krishna. So they had done some punya work to be with him. Now, we are not even going to be with, around such pious people, except for a couple of devotees, that too, if Krishna willing, So, I mean, my question comes on humanitarian basis. When people are suffering without their fault in this life, how can we say that, or how can we justify it by saying that they have done something really bad in the past?
Yeah, it's very true.
I find it difficult to take it that way, and I feel that if Krishna has given us this life, then he should at least give us, a bearable life. I'm not talking about normal people, who are having 2 square meals, who have a good life, who have a family, I'm talking about like some people who are really suffering, maybe because of war, which is not, if we see some parts of the world, there is a war for without any rhyme or reason, or be just for power struggle, and who is suffering? Innocent people. No, they are neither fighting. They are the not the ones who instigated the fight, who not started the fight. Little children, they are suffering. And apart from that, there are lots of atrocities throughout the world. Just open news, and the only thing you see is suffering. So I feel, there has to be some sort of, I mean, I cannot accept that, that if God has given us this birth, he would make it that bad for somebody.
The only thing is, if you don't accept that, if you don't accept it's because of karma, then you are accusing Krishna of being biased. You're saying to Krishna that you are a racist, or you're a sexist, oh, you're a pig.
I've already called him corrupt once. Oh my God. He to come to me then.
But I know, I hear what you're saying. It is much, much harder when you don't know why you're being punished to accept it. Much, much harder. Completely understand that. But because God is neutral, is impartial, he doesn't favor the devotees over the non-devotees. Of course, he's partial to those who are close to him, but anybody can become close to him. That's the beauty of God. So in terms of why somebody is struggling, see, God he's made this world because we wanted to live in this world. And unfortunately, sometimes the way we live in this world, we break the rules. We can live in this world quite happily if we follow the rules and the regulations. But because we didn't follow the rules and regulations, this suffering comes automatically. And he won't interfere with whether somebody is enjoying or suffering. He will leave it to the hard realities of material nature and the devatas. He'll only get involved when he's called upon, and he won't force himself on anybody. So that's why this difficulty arises when we see something in the world, when we think this is totally injustice, totally unjust. However, if we don't accept that, if we accept that God is impartial, God is not taking anybody's side, whether it's a devotee or the demon, he won't take a side, then we have to also accept that it's only because something has happened in the past that we are struggling now. Or I've done something so good that I'm enjoying now. But of course, that nobody, we always take credit for, all the good things that we've achieved. But when something wrong is happening to us, we're going to have to also take credit for that and say, okay, I deserve this, my own thing. But I know what you mean, that when we're looking at, the television pictures, you see the starving children in Ethiopia, your heart bleeds, for sure.
No doubt.
There's no doubt about it. Those are, only if you're a heartless person, you'd think, what the heck, it's their karma. No, let's do something about it. Let's see if we can do something about it. And Krishna's got the same mood. His mood is, I want that person back with me. So he will do whatever it's possible to do, because he doesn't want to interfere directly, but he will give indications for that person. So if that person, for example, takes shelter of the Lord, even a moment's shelter for that person will amount to a huge, Krishna will take so many steps towards that person. Every case is individual. But if we don't accept karma, if we don't accept that this is due to past, then we are accusing the Lord of being partial. And that he can't be. Isn't it?
Haribol?
Yes, Kamakshi.
It's my other half. Oh, sorry. Sorry, now Haribol. I've been sitting here listening, and it's nice because it's Kamakshi's phone. And yeah, it's an interesting question, Mataji asking about why some people are suffering and some children are suffering and some are living happily and all that, and I can understand this is the same sort of viewpoints I had before, and I would try to sort of blame, Krishna, why do you make everybody suffer like this? And if you are the God, you would remove these situations or be kind. But it's then later on I started to realize it's like, we come into this life, we've had previous lives, and we know you're gonna have past lives and previous lives. We don't know what's been happening with us as well, even. So it's like,
Yeah.
you know, I see this like, you know, as if you're walking into a movie halfway through or at some point, and the plot has been already, you know, things have happened in the past.
Good.
We don't know what was started off with the scenario. You got into a certain scenario in the movie halfway through, so you don't know what's happening in the beginning. You don't know what the ending is going to be. And then we are here trying to judge, you know, singing, oh, why is that person arguing with that other one? Why is that person just shot that other guy? And why is this guy so living happily and he seems to be doing okay? And we're trying to make, from our perspective, we're trying to make judgments, decisions, or speculate and all these things, you know, but we just don't know what's happened in the past or what's going to happen in the future in the movie yet. But we're caught up in this scenario now, you know, and we are judging and trying to make sense of it. And then obviously we're trying to blame the director. Why did he make a movie like this? You know, I mean, it's not fun watching this. So you quite rightly, you know, but then like you said, Navi, you know, that when we try to understand that there must be some reason, some storyline, some maybe that everybody's lives, and but you know, like we were reading today, you know, you say there are so many living entities, and of those living entities, there are only so many millions of just human beings. They're very far few, and out of those far few, there are very, very few that actually take to any kind of process of self-realization, you know. So today, you know, and that's the kind of situation that, you know, we find ourselves in. So we are trying to judge and trying to blame Krishna, or we can't blame him or anything like that, but try to understand what's happening. And then we, you know, short time that we spend on this, you know, our lifetime, we gone and like you said, you know, the four characters you mentioned, you know, the sage blessing different ways. I know that's how different people's situation is. So yeah, I hope that makes sense, but I've had the same dilemma.
Good example, Madhusan Babu. Very good example.
Yeah, I always see it like that. And the other thing I want to ask is, like, you know, we've been fed with so many different kind of information and misinformations, and we've been lied to, and we've been drawn into so many different things, that I want to ask a question is, like, you know, say, you know, we were, India was getting independent, you know, and Prabhupada was also part of Gandhi's movement at one time, you know. And what if Krishna didn't advise Arjun to keep on fighting, and he just said, just go and sit in a cave and just meditate. Don't worry about this, you know, Kurukshetra war. What would have happened? And he had sort of kind of uphold the ahimsa idea. Be non-violent, Arjun, you know. Like so many Indians were made to feel at the time of independence and Gandhi's non-movement, don't fight, oh, just, you know, we were all brainwashed to think we should be non-violent. And as a result, you know, Gandhi's and all that. What happened? And what would happen if Bhagavad Gita was the other way around? Sometimes you wonder.
I remember Maharaj was saying a story, pastime of when the Mughals came. They couldn't defeat an army, a Hindu army, really, really powerful. But what they did, they put a whole lot of Gomatas in front, and they started walking behind the Gomatas at the back. So Gomatas, and the kings and the army wouldn't fight, wouldn't shoot the Gomata, because, you know, to kill a Gomata is very sinful. So in that way, the Mughal army defeated the Hindu army. And Maharaj made a point that actually now there are millions and billions of Gomatas being killed for the sake of a few Gomatas. Now billions are being killed.
Yeah.
What do you do? You know,
it is amazing, you know. And also, Guru Maharaj also used to say how at the time of the British, that's why he said, Sanatan Dharma, you have to stand up and fight if you have to fight. And, so many Indians have been kind of misled and to think that we just got to be so humble and let everybody just tread on us. But nobody wants to stand up to the fact that, hey, Krishna did tell Arjun, just stand up and fight, and if you have to fight.
Bhagavad gives a great example in what is the difficulty. Well, Shruti Das, I think, he gives a great example of Prabhupada when I believe he's I'm not sure where he is, but he's about to take rest at night, and the mosquito net hasn't been put down properly, and so Prabhupada is a little bit annoyed, and he I think he takes a paper and he starts smacking the mosquitoes, and his secretary who's there is asking, why are you doing this? Like, we're not supposed to. And he says, yeah, but they're attacking me. And if they are attacking me, I have to be able to defend myself. And there's more to the example, and it's actually a really great read. I recommend anybody that hasn't read it. But yeah, that always kind of stuck with me, to say that, there are, I guess, justifications or reasons or situations we find ourselves in, just as Krishna gives Arjuna on the battlefield. If you must fight. It's your duty. This is why your purpose. In his situation, but in other situations we may find ourselves being attacked. It might be verbally, it might be physically, and sometimes I think Mataji gave the question, what do we do when somebody says something like that to us? We can defend ourselves.
Yes, if we're attacked, we can defend ourselves. Very true. Very good point. And I like that example of I think it's Prabhupada himself said it to Shrutikirti that now the mosquito is biting, we can defend.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, it really, it's such a great book. Great pastimes, and lots of examples in there.
We had him on a Zoom call, Shrutikirti, maybe 3-4 months ago.
Really?
Yeah.
He mentioned that, yeah.
He mentioned that Pacific pastime.
Yeah, there's one about 7-Up, which is great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Prabhupada called it Up 7, didn't he, or something like that?
I can't remember, but yeah, no, the detail, but the lesson behind it was so strong, though.
No, tell us.
So Prabhupada and some devotees were out, and Prabhupada was sitting in the car, and I think he noticed somebody selling something, and he asked, what's this guy selling? I'm thirsty, and so they there was some 7-Up, and they brought him some 7-Up, and he drank it, and he didn't say much. It's fizzy. He seemed to like it, and then I think he asked for some 7-Up again once to his room. And then all of the devotees thought, Prabhupada likes 7-Up. This is interesting. It's cool. And then somebody ordered a couple of cases of 7-Up. And they had it. And I think Prabhupada was walking out of his room into the hallway, and he saw it, and he was like, "What is this?" And he said, "Well, you like it, so we got it." He said, "Yeah, but too much of one thing is not good. Like just because I like it doesn't mean you should stock the floor to ceiling with it. We have everything in moderation, I guess." But it's really made me smile.
Yeah, nice one. Thank you very much.
Yeah, I like that bit because in mid-70s I was in London, and I used to go to Bury Place. It just opened, and I used to go in the evenings. And I was, there were a few devotees. I started walking around with them. They went for a walk in the evening towards Trafalgar Square from Bury Place and all that. So I was with them. And they started to talk about, Prabhupada likes 7-Up, Prabhupada likes 7-Up and all that. So I remember, we were in that discussion actually at that time.
Interesting.
That's why they all drink, so no.
Yeah. But then Prabhupada had to sort of say, I said, this is getting a bit out of hand, this needs to be stopped. You don't get carried away with this 7-Up business. Just yeah, Shruti Kirti's pastime's good. Yeah.
Yeah, really. So Punamalaji,
Okay,
that's the
you.
answer. Have a 7-Up. What to do?
My own answer. I like Madhusudan Prabhu's answer. It's like watching movie midway through. Very nice analogy. I can relate to it. But what I do is I just devote my prayers to those people. So this is what I mean. It was especially with regards to, I don't know if anyone of you have read it. I don't even know how, if I'm pronouncing it correct. It's Uyghur Muslim community in China. Very treacherous article. If you happen to read BBC News, don't read it. But so I mean, I feel bad for people who are just I mean, we do not know the real truth of that. I do not even want to get into the politics of it. I do not even have that knowledge about it. But I feel bad for those innocent people who are being subjected to what they are being subjected to. So they are Muslim people. I don't even know if they are going to know or they are going to acknowledge my God or or Krishna or anything. But I feel they're humans, and as a human being, if we can't do anything, the least I could do is just pray to God that even if they have done any karma, whatever it is, just release them of that bondage and just give them peace. That's it.
See, what's lacking in this world, like we were talking
Compassion.
today. Yeah. Indra did a fantastic job. He killed a demon. And all the demigods, they didn't even thank him. Forget about thanking him. They didn't even try to help him in any way. They just walked away, and he suffered for 1,000 years and this and that. So in this world, compassion is lacking, but not in a devotee. So you're a natural devotee. You have this natural compassion. And that is actually a good sign of a devotee. Like Arjun had this natural compassion. It's shows in the Bhagavad Gita in the first chapter. So this compassion is very important. And actually Krishna becomes very pleased when somebody is compassionate. He's very compassionate.
Especially if we pray for others. He loves that.
And that's the least we can do, and that is the best we can do, and that is what we have in our hands, rather than getting agitated, feeling bad, drowning in sorrow or misery. I mean, that is not going to help us. Neither am I going to go help them, physically, monetarily, anyway, nor am I going to meet them or do anything for them. So the best I can do is send a silent prayer, or as many prayers as I can, so that they're safe and they're taken care of by the Lord.
Yeah. And he'll take care of everyone. We just have to understand that he might not take care of the body, but God never has any. He will do whatever is the best for us. We have to have that faith. If we get run over tomorrow, we have to understand, okay, the body's got run over, but God will always look after me, the soul. Always look after me, the soul. It's a hard one to understand, hard one to accept, but that's what Vrittasura, he was that demon that Indra killed, but he was a devotee. He said, you kill me, doesn't matter. Kill the body, doesn't matter. He was fearless. We have to come to that position of being fearless and having this full faith in God that he will look after me no matter what.
Especially in this age of Kali Yuga, it's you see it as day by day goes by, it becomes more and more difficult, and we see all of the things that are put in front of us, all the Maya, that can easily tempt us away.
Good point. Good point.
And that's why Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is, say that Bharat Bhumi to hoile janmaya janma sarthak kari karo paro upkar. That means it's the duty of the Bharat Bhumi, make your life perfect first. And then, once you succeed in your own personal life, then you can upkar, meaning you can deliver other people as well and help other people.
Yeah.
That's
and
great.
that's Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's message, isn't it?
Yeah, somebody related to that to me once by saying, when you're on an airplane and they give you the safety instructions and they say, if we lose pressure and the masks fall down, first you must put your own mask on.
Yeah.
Then you can help somebody else.
Yeah. That's a fact. Yeah.
And all these discourses that we're doing, Bhagavad Gita and Navi and all this reading is don't make us come to an understanding first and then see how we can help each other. So it's good. Yeah, good. Thank you, Harim.
Thank you. Thank you for that. Thank you for sharing. Thank you, and Puna Mataji, for interesting direction of the conversation, because it's all karma. It was karma related. So Krishna was talking about karma. So you raised it at the right time. I hope it helps. There are no clear-cut answers that we can give, except to say that Krishna is impartial. He cares for all of us. It's not that he doesn't care for one and cares for another. He cares for all of us. Like you will care for your 3 children equally. They may behave differently and you treat them differently, but you love them equally. Okay. Thank you so much, everybody.
Thank you, Vanya.
And Aruna is here. Great. Very good, Aruna. She's somebody we actually doing all this for. Just because
she texted me to say, "Are you not coming on?" And I said, "Oh, I forgot." And she reminded me. So credit to her.
credit to her, but also yes, Aruna. Yeah, great. Go on, Aruna.
I got my timing so mixed up today. I had to cook at 7 o'clock. I couldn't read today, but I thoroughly enjoyed it while I was cooking. So all the blessings gone into my cooking.
All the karma.
Yes.
Yeah, good.
Yeah.
That would be very knowledgeable food that you're cooking.
Absolutely, yes. Sorry about that. I couldn't read earlier.
Now, I was just saying that we're doing this all, someone like you, is exactly why this is all being done, because like today you made such wonderful comments in the afternoon about, it's helping you to become somewhat detached and perhaps attached to the Lord. And that's the whole purpose of what we're doing. So
absolutely. Thank you.
No, thank you for encouraging us and being with us. So
I think being a single parent, you think that you want to be father and a mother and you become overprotective, but your child doesn't need any protection. I mean, she's smiling when I'm saying this. She's got a grin ear to ear, but you do though, don't you? You just get so attached to your kids, no matter how old they are. And now I've learned that she's fine. I have to concentrate on what I want to do. My my devotion to to Lord, and so it's amazing how this 6 months it's changed my life. I don't worry about her. I don't worry at all about her because she's becoming stronger. I don't know, seeing me praying, I guess, or being stronger myself in my devotion. So it's helping. It's helping a lot. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Well done. Thank you so much, Aruna. Sure.
Yeah, Nabi, and I had a little talk to do on something called prescribed duties. What's one prescribed duty, as we're talking about karma and all that? So there is Prabhupada is in a room conversation, and one Indian Mataji is asking Prabhupada, what is one's prescribed duty? And then so Prabhupada said, to surrender to Krishna. Very simple thing. Krishna, I forgot you for so many lives. Right. Now I surrender unto you. Yeah. And it's just a simple answer. Prabhupada makes it so easy. Give me protection. That's all. Very simple thing. So simple, but still not easy.
Good point. Nice one. JV, We're always missing you.
Hare
Hare Krishna,
Krishna.
Sevi. So good to see you. I'm going to switch off the recording.